In the post-COVID world of business and marketing, there's only one question that matters. What's Sizzlin? Welcome to What's Sizzlin, the podcast that discusses current business and marketing strategies, regardless of the size of your company or the industry you're in. We have a new guest star each episode that talk about their business and reaching their target market in their vertical, what they do to overcome their challenges. I'm your host, Mitch Levinson, founder and thought leader of Creative Sizzle. As always, with me is Lauren Pond, our SEO specialist and office manager. Hi, Lauren. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited about this episode.
I am too.
Lauren Skiniotes at Momentum Dance Studio. So, Lauren, what did you think of Lauren when you met her the first time?
I enjoyed meeting her and learning how she went from her bachelor's of arts in physics and math and goes into dance. I mean, they're so different from each other. It's very impressive to see that at a young age, she was only a senior in college when she was approached to take over the business. I mean, that's very impressive to see somebody at that age being able to run their own business. Dance isn't easy. My daughter danced for at least 10 years. So I give any dance teacher or owner of a dance studio a lot of credit being able to handle the students, the moms, and just learning how she works with, special needs children or making her facility a safe place for her students. I was very impressed.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that, but it definitely is interesting to when we had that conversation about the different kinds of dance that she teaches and some of the career paths that people go on when they make it through her dance program, all the way up through. I mean, she's got a lot of obviously kids and high schoolers, but she teaches some adult dance education, and she's got some 33-year-old and older in her program. So it's really exciting to hear about that and how people they start doing it at a young age, and it's something they enjoy. They do it throughout high school, and then they realize, with Josh, my oldest, he did show choir for a long time in high school, and he enjoyed it very much. But when he was in high school, but there were career paths that he could have gone on that you really don't even think about when you are a senior, junior in high school, trying to figure out where you want to go to college, if you want to go to college, what do you want to do next, and whether you're like our boys and they're athletes and they're deciding where they want to go to college for sport, or they're dancers and they're deciding where they want to go to college to learn more of their art, or musicians, or like she was a physicist and she wants to learn her trade. Kind of funny how that works. But yeah, so really excited about today's guest on the show, Lauren Skiniotes with Momentum Dance Studio. When we get back from our break, we will have Lauren. So stay tuned.
This episode of What's Sizzlin' is brought to you by Jerstad Builders, building high-quality homes for more than 35 years. Jerstad Builders can create your dream home in one of their beautiful communities. Whether you're looking in McHenry, Poplar Grove, or Richmond, Illinois, or in Williams Bay, Wisconsin, Jerstad Builders will be able to build exactly what you need. Visit jerstadbuilders.com to explore their communities and view all of their available home models. Make your dream home a reality with Jerstad Builders. Visit jerstadbuilders.com to schedule an appointment today.
This episode of What's Sizzlin' is brought to you by your why. It's why you're in business. It's why you're here. It's why you need our support to drive quality traffic to your website, to your Facebook page, to your LinkedIn profile, to whatever it is you're driving traffic to. It's your why. It's why you wake up in the morning and go to work. For me, it's my kids. That's why. And now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to What's Sizzlin', the podcast that talks about all things marketing. With us today, we have our guest from Momentum Dance Studio, Lauren Skiniotes. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, that was Dexter welcoming you to our show. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got started in dance?
Sure. So I started dancing when I was 3 years old, and I got real jealous of my older sister who got to go to dance class, and I had to sit behind the window and watch. So I started then, and then I just didn't stop. So I went all the way through high school and then decided to go to college for something different. And I ended up realizing that I could not study, could not cope with change, could not do anything that an adult needed to do without having the kind of physical release and emotional release that dance offered me. So I had to get back into dance real quick. I was only one semester off before I took it back up. And then, now it's an everyday thing.
It's like most things when it's your passion. You can take the dancer out of the dance, but you can't take the dance out of the dancer. Understand that?
Very true.
Interesting story about how you ended up with Momentum Dance Studio. And by the way, your facility is in Homer Glen, Illinois. So for those of you that are listening that are nearby Homer Glen, you may want to stop by, especially if you're a young family with kids that are interested in learning how to dance and having some fun at the same time. But tell us a little bit about the studio itself and how you came about Momentum Dance Studio.
I've owned the studio since 2016. And before that, it was previously owned under a different name, the Dance Studio Limited. It started in 1988 and by Marianne Kyler. And she still teaches at our studio. She's still our early childhood education teacher. She teaches all the little ones up till about first grade. And then they come to me and all the rest of our teachers. There's 8 of us on staff. And it's been a great 5 years. We're going on our 6th season right now, which is wild to think about. I feel like I just took it over.
1988 is a long time to have company in business for. So that's great. And having her still involved says a lot about not only her, but your character, where the person that came after her, high quality and enough that she wants to continue to talk through. So I think that's great. So let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of dance that people learn in your studio. And let's also talk about what are some of the career paths? Because you said you wanted to be a professional dancer and you're obviously doing that, but there are so many, like I said, when my son was really into it in high school, there were a lot of career paths he could have taken and a lot of learning he needed to be a great professional dancer. So let's talk first. Let's start with, what kind of dance do you offer in your studio? And then how does someone take that to the next level?
Yeah, so thanks for asking about that. So we do a lot of different styles, and each kind of teacher at our studio has a niche that they're in. So we teach, very typical, the ballet, point, tap, jazz, hip hop, lyrical, contemporary. And recently we've added musical theater as well as acrobatics. And that's kind of all encompassing when it comes to like dance styles and the expertise that our teachers have. Outside of that, we have a couple other programs that not many studios offer as well. So we can probably talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, well, I just want to go back real quickly. You said, and I definitely understand ballet and tap and hip hop, they're obvious or more obvious to me. But when you say acrobatic or when you say adaptive, what does that really mean? What kind of dance is that? I mean, acrobatic, I think of 2 things, like Cirque du Soleil. And then I also think of the Olympics where you're kind of dancing and doing gymnastics and maybe you have a flag or whatever. And so can you talk about that?
Sure. So you're not on the wrong track. So Cirque du Soleil, for sure, a lot of acrobatic dancers train to go into that circus world, that cirque performance world. And I think what you're thinking of is rhythmic gymnastics for the Olympics, but yeah, they are also very much trained in dance when it comes down to it. So our acrobatic dancers can dance in any of those styles that I just mentioned: ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, lyrical, contemporary, musical theater, whatever, and add acrobatic elements to those, such as tumbling or balancing or any sort of limbering stuff that you're thinking about when it comes to like the gymnastics side of things. But yeah, it really is just about adding a little extra layer of athleticism to any style of dance that you do. So typically when I'm choreographing an acrobatic dance, I will choose a style of music that I really like and then create the dance around that music, whether that's kind of an upbeat pop song, it might be a little jazzy, and then I'll pepper in and kind of transition in all of these acrobatic movements and skills that the kids train hard in class for.
Yeah, that's definitely similar to what I was thinking. And then do they like the traditional dances? Do they go through classes and then they come to the end of the class and they have, either the performance or the recital or whatever you call it at the end? And
yeah, typically at our studio, we'll start our season kind of with the school year in late August, and we'll go all the way through to the middle of June and have a recital, usually the second Saturday in June. So we start preparing for that recital around the winter time and kind of the beginning of the school year, we get to do a little fun things, get to know you, and kind of break in the basics of what each class is kind of going to be working on for the year. So yeah, we do start early in the season and work up to a performance right at the end too.
Parents, grandparents, they come and they watch and they love it.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to talk a little bit about how your instructors, what kind of certifications your studio is certified for, and what kind of dance they do?
We've got 3 different kinds of certifications among our staff members at the studio. And that's something that's really important to me, to have experts in their fields and make sure that we're continually learning as teachers as well. So we are certified in RhythmWorks Integrative Dance, which helps us inform our adaptive dance program in a variety of ways. So 3 of our teachers are certified in that. We've got 2 teachers at our studio that are certified for acrobatic arts, and that's a world-renowned acrobatics program. And then finally, we have teachers in the process of certifying for youth protection advocates in dance, and that's based around educational best practices, including CPR and first aid, abuse awareness and prevention, injury prevention and response, safety and emergency preparedness, safety in today's culture, and developmentally appropriate artistry, things like that, within the studio confines. So pretty great things to kind of set us apart and make sure that we're a place that dancers feel safe and welcome and supported.
What percentage of your client base is families and kids? And I guess how young are your youngest?
So we go as young as 18 months, and as long as they're walking. So as young as 18 months, and then typically we go through high school, as a lot of people's lives change after that point. But for some of us that, stay in the same area or have different needs, we go beyond high school, or like you said, for adults too. During the summertime, we offer a lot of adult classes just for fun and to get moving. So no age limit there. I would say typically we've got probably about 30% of our client base is in kind of our early childhood education realm, which is that 18 months to first grade type of student. And then beyond that, we kind of have this recreational side of things where you get to pick what sort of style you want to continue dancing in, whether that's ballet or tap. You're not taking those combination classes anymore as you did as a young child. So they get to differentiate and pick one and roll with it for a year, or pick many if they want to do multiple classes. That's always fine.
We're going to talk about at the end a little bit about an offer that you are giving your students when they're new members, new dancers, a way for them to experience all the different kinds of dance to decide what they like to do. But we're going to save that to the end. One of the other areas that's kind of close to the heart for me is your adaptive dance area. Being a stepfather of an autistic son, anything that has to do with the special needs program or community makes a lot of sense and is really important. So how does your adaptive dance programs, how do they work? Can you talk a little bit about your adaptive dance program?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. So our adaptive dance program has actually been around for longer than I've owned the studio. So it started maybe 2004, 2005, something like that. Real long ago when not many studios were doing that at all. And it definitely started out of the need. One student had a sister who was in a wheelchair who really wanted to dance, and she was not able to take a typical class. And so why not make a class for her, right? So it kind of got started in a very small way like that and kind of blossomed and grew out of it. And we got a lot of our typical students and able-bodied students involved as well, assisting those classes and kind of gaining those leadership skills and making friendships along the way as these kids grow up. But now we've taken it a couple steps further and decided, let's be really intentional about what we're doing exactly in these classes, how we're approaching the information that we're disseminating, and making sure that everyone can take it in the way that they need to take it in. So we have 3 teachers that teach our adaptive dance program. We teach hip hop, tap and rhythm, jazz, lyrical, and some of our students can integrate within our regular typical classes as well too. So they'll bop into adaptive and then they'll take contemporary too, or something like that. So they can definitely have overlap, which is great. So we're certified in RhythmWorks Integrative Dance, which is an awesome certification program that helps us lesson plan and educate our teachers on how to best approach physical disabilities as well as cognitive disabilities in the classroom and make sure that each student is very successful in what they want to do. So yeah, there's some fun stuff. We've done hip hop for a while. That's always a big hit. You know, everyone loves hip hop, and kind of a new up and coming one that we've just started is that tap and rhythm. So we call it tap and rhythm because not everyone is going to be tapping with shoes on their feet. Some people will be tapping with gloves on their hands. Like if they're in a mobility device, like a wheelchair or a walker, we can put a plank of wooden kind of floor material across the little armrest. And then they've got gloves with taps on the fingers and the heel of the hand. And they get to learn all of the tap steps, learn how to keep rhythm and all of that, just not with their feet in a way that they can.
Very fun, especially when you look at, all the great kids that may need a program like that. So if you are listening and you're part of either that community or you have kids or you're an adult that wants to learn how to dance, you should definitely get in contact with Lauren Skiniotes with Momentum Dance Studio in Homer Glen, Illinois. It's definitely a great place to learn how to dance, and it's a safe place and comfortable place to go. And so, Lauren, before we wrap up, and let's not let the cat out of the bag yet about how you get new dancers to learn and experience different kinds of dance, to know what they like the most. If someone was interested in reaching out to you or coming to your facility, how would they get in contact with you?
So the best way is to visit our website, momentumdancestudio.com. We've got contact forms in there, and it goes just directly to our email inbox or to our studio phone. Additionally, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is at Momentum Dance 1, and I think Facebook is just Facebook with a / Momentum Dance 1 as well. So find us there. Pretty active.
Do you have a phone number, or what's the address of the facility in Homer Glen? Or
Sure. We're in Homer Glen at Bell Road and 159th at that intersection there on the west side of Bell. And our phone number is 708-301-8181.
So that's Lauren Skiniotes with Momentum Dance Studio. Stay tuned for a way to find out what dance you like the best. Lauren, thank you very much. I really appreciate having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Are you having credit problems, or are you looking for someone to help you improve your credit score? Contact John Wilkinson with creditsolutionproblems.org. John is very versed and understands exactly what needs to be done in order to improve your credit score, get your credit back in line, and if you are looking to help people after the pandemic get back on track, John would be willing to work with you and your donation so that you can help those that really need it. Visit creditproblemsolved.org or call 866-850-9360.
This episode of What's Sizzlin' is brought to you by the Chicago Real Estate Forum, the place where Chicagoans and people that live in the 7 county surrounding areas go to get their real estate information. ChicagoRealEstateForum.com is a great way to see available listings and find information about the area, all on the same website. You can also get connected to real estate professionals that know the area and can help with all of your real estate needs. Visit ChicagoRealEstateForum.com to learn more. Now let's get back to What's Sizzlin'.
Welcome back. That was a great episode with Lauren Skiniotes with Momentum Dance Studio. Lauren, what did you think about that show?
I thought it was great. I loved hearing about the different classes that they offer, whether it's the 18-month-olds to the kids that are older. I really, though, enjoyed how they handled children with special needs and how they helped to integrate them even into some of their classes. And it doesn't even feel like it makes them any different. She said that some of them tap with their hands. I think that makes them a very unique and special dance studio.
Yeah, Lauren, I agree. As someone in the special needs community with the adaptive dance and some of the other credentials that the certifications that her team has, I think it's really, really important, not only for those special needs, but everyone else. I mean, we have kids that were athletes, and Theo started with gymnastics, and Josh did some dance, and Sophia, and we all went through that kind of age where they were trying to figure out exactly what they liked to do, and every child is different. Every child has a unique way to like and not like things. And in addition to the background noise, I got Dexter scratching his chain. So awesome noise in the background today for the episode. So I appreciate that. But Lauren has a fabulous way to help your kids learn what dance they like the most. So if you're listening and you have kids and they might be interested in taking some dance classes, Lauren offers a 7-day class pass. And basically what that is you can go to her studio for 7 days, take every and any class you want to at no cost to see what you like the best. And then after that 7 days, you'll be able to choose and see, what kind of classes you may or may not want to sign up for. But it's at least a way for your kids to figure out what they like in a fun, exciting way, and experience, Momentum Dance Studio the way that they would experience. So if you're interested, just mention the 7-day class pass and the What's Sizzlin podcast when you get in touch with Lauren Skiniotes at MomentumDanceStudio.com. Anything else, Lauren, you want to add to how exciting it was?
No, I'm good. This was great.
Yeah, this was a great episode. So thank you for joining us this week on another episode of What's Sizzlin. Each week we talk about what's new in business and marketing, where together with our special guests, we share our thoughts on specific stories that will help them in their business and personal life. Make sure you tune in every Monday to keep on top of What's Sizzlin, and head over to iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It really does help out the show. If you'd like more information on today's guest, becoming a guest yourself, or need marketing support, head on over to Creative Sizzle/What's Sizzlin. Thanks again. And I'm Mitch Levinson.
And I'm Lauren Kahn.
And we'll see you next time.